In the last activity, you output the message hello world. In programming, we do not refer to that as text. We call that a string. A string is the programming term for text. So if you are asked to output a string, you are being asked to output text. You can add strings together inside a print function by using a plus symbol, like this. When we run the code, notice how it interprets the white space literally. If we wanted to add a white space in there, we would have to literally add a space in there like this. Or like this. Another strategy that you're going to see adding white space is using empty quotation marks like this. Now, where things can get really exciting in programming is with variables. Variables store information and can be manipulated throughout the program. There is a specific way that you need to create variables. You will first give it a name and then set its value. For example, let's say we want to create a variable called first name and set it to Caleb. Variable names can really be anything you want, as long as you follow a short set of guidelines. Variable names need to start with letters, not numbers. So you can have first name 1, but you can't have 1 first name. Variable names should always be logical descriptions of the information that the variable consists. In this example, it would be considered wrong if you name this variable phone number or trees or AAA. While it would still run and your code would work, it is considered by humans to be incorrect. So on quiz questions, tests, assignments, your variables need to use logical names. Otherwise, it will be considered incorrect. Your code needs to be legible by other people. Programmers very often work in groups, so if you're the only one who can understand your code, that's not good. It will be marked incorrect. Lastly, your variable names should not have spaces. That is why you'll see me use a style known as camel case. When using 2 words makes sense. The first letter of the second word is capitalized. This is a common universal approach when you have longer variable names. So now that we have a variable, how can we use it? One thing we can do is add the variable name into the print function. Notice how we do not use quotations. If we did, the print function would read it as a string instead of a variable. When we run this code, it will output the value of the variable. So now that we have a variable, how can we use it? One thing we can do is add the variable name into the print function like this. Notice how we do not use quotations. If we did use quotations, the print function would read it as a string instead of a variable, and you would get a very different result. When we run the code, we want it to output the value of the variable. Try changing the value of first name and see how it automatically updates the output. Additionally, we can add multiple strings to this print function. Remember that our code reads top down. So if we initialize our variable below the print statement, you would get an error. This is because on line 8, the computer is looking for the variable first name, but it has not yet been made. So for now, it's best to initialize your variables at the top of your program to eliminate any confusion. Move on to the next activity and practice making some variables.